All right, everybody, welcome back to the shop today here at Bruner Tuner. Today is the day we remount the transmission to the engine, and that means we're going to be installing the rear main seal, reinstalling the clutch, and getting this all bolted up back together. So let's get into it. Now, last time we left off, we had gotten the head, the valve cover, all this stuff back on, including our homemade block-off plates. One of the last things we're gonna have to do, which I'm not concerned with right now, is getting these coolant lines all cleaned up. Anyways, what we're talking about today is reinstalling that rear main seal and then getting the transmission and clutch put back on the engine and getting it ready to drop back in the car. So let's start doing that. All right, we got our engine off the stand. The next step is to get this rear main seal in, and then we're gonna get the clutch bolted up. All right, now before y'all jump in the comments and tell me that I need to replace these bolts, understand that the Miata does not use torque to yield flywheel bolts, unlike some cars like my Audis, and I do replace those every time I take the flywheel off. However, with these, I'm just gonna give them a good cleaning with a wire brush, get some blue Loctite on there, and drive these things home. Okay. All right, now I've dealt with this before on some of my Audis. Whenever you don't have a clutch alignment tool, I like to find a socket that will fit inside the pilot bearing and then wrap around tape until it snugs up on the clutch disc. So what I've got here is actually a 10mm Pittsburgh socket, and that fits very nicely inside of the factory pilot bearing on the Miata. And I've wrapped it with some tape here for the spec clutch, and we're looking good there. And here is our new 6-speed transmission, looking nice and shiny. I just took this outside and cleaned it up with some degreaser. Shout out Super Clean. And this is our old 5-speed, and you can see there's actually a substantial difference in the shape of the rear tail housings. Actually, the whole thing has got kind of a different structure. I wasn't really expecting that. This one did come from somebody who had it in a K-Series car, so they had that notched out for the starter, but it's not going to affect us. So let's go ahead and get this bolted up to the engine, and we'll talk about the next steps. And that is our drive line all bolted together. Last step before you drop it in the car is to get this coolant reroute on, and then of course we'll throw in the exhaust manifold and we should be ready to go. Man, I am wrecked. It was a lot of work, but we've got the header rewrapped, this time all the way down to the flange. And I gotta say, it looks like I did a pretty solid job here. I made sure to go flaps facing down, so there's no chance of wind picking up underneath them. Some of the ends here got a little bit loose. I'm not super concerned about that. But overall, the engine is looking really minty. Coolant reroute should be here in the mail pretty soon, unless this person decides to screw me as well. So we'll pick back up once that is here. Big surprise, some parts just showed up that we've been waiting way too long for, but check it out. We've got our coolant reroute by Mas Miata. This is one that's supplied by Mas Miata, built by Cobalt, and arguably one of the better reroute setups in my opinion, because of the close location of the thermostat to the head. Some of the ones that you've seen leave it way off to the side. maybe remote mounted over here. And in my opinion, you want the thermostat as close to the head as possible so you're getting it to open as quickly as possible and get that warm water out of there. In addition to our nice kit from Miata, we decided to pick up a 185-degree thermostat just to allow us a little bit more wiggle room and get things to open up sooner and start cooling the engine when we're on track. And here's that thermostat installed inside of the housing. You can see Miata's kit provides you with a second port so you don't have to run that heater core hose all the way back up to the front of the engine, thus cleaning things up and just saving you more space. Okay, I gotta crawl into the car and try to get this drive shaft on. That's gonna be fun. That took entirely too long. I'm going to bed. All right, it's a new morning. We've gotten through, tidied up some of the wiring. I actually got rid of all of this EGR and charcoal canister stuff. Since I'm going to be running the standalone ECU, I can more or less just code all of it out, turn it off. So everything's looking pretty good. We've got our reroute hose in here. Same thing on this side. Cleaned up some of the stuff over here. We just tucked some relays up out of the way just to clean it up and give it a nicer look. The AC is installed. I actually kind of damaged the condenser pulling the engine out, so hopefully it doesn't leak. If it does, well, I guess we'll look for a new condenser and try to recharge the system because I definitely want to have AC in this still. We've got our cappuccino washer bottle. This is something you guys didn't see, but if you're curious to how I did this, I just followed Rev Limiter's install and made myself some spacers and got some bolts and got it in here. I think it looks great and it frees up some space in the engine bay. Again, I just want this to look very tidy and clean and not so much clutter. So the next steps, where you're going to get the radiator dropped in, get the lines hooked up. I've already got the clutch slave cylinder reinstalled down below. The drive shaft is installed. Now I have to bolt up the power plant frame and the exhaust. And then we'll move inside and I got a special treat for the shifter setup. So let's get into it. Okay, well, we're all buttoned up underneath the car, so let's head to the auto parts store and get our fluids. And we had to go to O'Reilly's. All right, well, we're back with the goods, so it's time to get the cooling system put back in the car and start topping this thing up with fluids. And we're just using distilled water right now. I'm just gonna run this thing on some cheap fluids right now to get it going. And then before we go to the track, we will swap out a lot of this stuff for better fluids. All right, well, all the fluids are in the car. Ended up taking a shot of Royal Purple straight to the face. The hose slipped out of the transmission, but fortunately I had just enough to get it filled up. So now we're gonna move inside the car and talk about our new shifter setup. That's right, folks, we're gonna have arguably one of the best setups for these cars, a Miata Roadster short shifter. Now, I am super excited about this because I actually picked this up for a steal on racebuilds.com. And if you're not familiar with RaceBuilds, it's kind of a reselling marketplace for performance parts. Pretty cool stuff on there, and I got this thing shipped for, man, 200 bucks less than this thing costs retail. So can't complain there. I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of this thrown together and then we'll see if we can get the car started. You know, I just thought about it and I actually can't start this car right now because I'm on a 36-2 crank trigger wheel. The factory ECU is not going to work with that. It's used to a 4 trigger wheel. So I'm going to work on installing my ECU. I don't know that I can really do too much for a video on this. I'm just going to go off the guide they have online, and if there's anything eventful that comes up, I'll let you guys know, but I'm just going to get cracking on this. Hey guys, here in my garage in my Lamborghini.
Here in my garage, just bought this new Lamborghini.
Yeah, we're actually setting up the tune right now. The ECU is pretty straightforward to install. I might do a video on that later on, but literally it's running a map line to a vacuum source in the engine bay. And then since I'm using the external controller, my AEM wideband, I just take the white wire, which is the analog output, and I run that to the analog output on my factory narrowband plug. And so what I'll do is I'll just find that pin on the Tuner Studio software, and I'll address that pin as my 0 to 5 volt for AFR, and I should be good. But yeah, battery's getting ready to die on this, so I'm gonna let you guys go, and I'll catch back up to you whenever I make some progress. All right, so one of the dialog boxes was missing in the drop downs inside Tuner Studio for me to select the pin that I wanted for my wideband analog output to go to. So what I did was I just unplugged the sensor from down there and ran the cable up into the car, and now that's plugged into the ECU. So I'm not going to have any wideband readout on here, but I'll be able to tune the car for now, and then I'll probably just get a second O2 sensor and plug it into my gauge, because I do like having the gauge out there. But what we're going to do is get the jump box on the car, set up the camera, and see if this thing fires up.
You're ugly, you are disgusting, I'm gonna kill you, give me $200.
Well, we got some work to do. All right, so we made some adjustments to the crank angle sensor. So hopefully now we will be able to get this thing to fire off, and then we'll get into setting our base timing. Woo! A lot of smoke. That's our new header wrap there. Just off-gassing everything. But I made some changes on the fly. The car started to run a little bit smoother. I'm pretty sure I had something fully open down there. I think I pulled out an O2 sensor that I need to put back in. All right, it's a new morning. I'm gonna see if this thing will start, and we'll make some adjustments. All right, so right now I'm gonna get up the temp, and I'm gonna try to adjust the target lambda, or the target air-fuel ratio at idle. So I'm gonna hook up my timing gun, make sure my timing is spot on, and then I'm gonna let it do its little thing. All right, well, I'm gonna wrap it up here. We've got the car started. Next time you see it, we're gonna have it back on the ground, and we're going to start the tuning process. I've already got some help from members over on the Beer Money Motorsports Discord, including Justin. He runs a page called Miata Megasport Tuning. So go check him out on Facebook. There's a lot of good info there. They helped me get it set up at least so it's somewhat running at idle. Now what I'm gonna do is get the car out on the road, use my Tune and Analyze Live, so it's kind of like an auto-tune program that's built into Tuner Studio, and we'll see where it goes. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this one. We'll see you next time. Peace.